guys, Sabrina here. Today I'm going to be giving you tips on taking an art class, and I'll more specifically be discussing AP Studio Art Drawing. And I will also be talking about each of the teachers that teach art classes here at Santa Sue. Tip number 1. Do not procrastinate on finishing your artwork. Make sure that you are using the class time you are given to actually work diligently and finish your artwork on time. Sometimes you may underestimate how long a piece of artwork will take you to finish, and you could find yourself having to take your artwork home and rushing to finish it the night before it's due. And so if you allow yourself to have enough time to finish your artwork, which is given in class, you can not only best represent yourself as in your abilities as an artist through your artwork, but you won't have to spend any extra time out of class trying to finish your artwork. Tip number 2. Get good supplies. I really suggest buying the art kit, which you can do at the beginning of the year in your art class. It's just a lot nicer to have your own art supplies rather than just using what is offered in the classroom, since that's what a lot of other people use. If you find yourself wanting to work on your artwork at home, you can just bring your supplies with you. And also, if you plan on taking art the next year, you can just at the beginning of the year buy whatever you ran out of or need more of instead of buying the whole art kit again. And if you treat them right, they should last you a good amount of time. But don't sweat it if you can't afford to buy an art kit, because there are supplies provided in class, and if you need to take supplies home, you just have to let your teacher know, and I'm sure they will be fine with it. Many students do that. It's just nicer to have your own art supplies. Tip number 3. Make sure you keep your supplies in good condition for them to last, and clean up after your messes in the classroom. Make sure that you thoroughly wash your brushes and don't abuse them. They will last longer if you treat them right. And if you find that you made a mess in the classroom, please clean up after your mess. No one else wants to clean it up after you. Just don't be that kid. Tip number 4. Do not half-ass anything. Make sure that you are always trying your hardest, because you can tell when someone didn't put a lot of effort into their artwork. And also, it is so satisfying to create a piece of art that you are proud of, that you are excited about, and that you put a lot of effort into. Tip number 5. Create art that is based off of your interests. You can use the guidelines that are given from an assignment and find a way to create what you want to create within those limits. Do not let the concept and idea of that there's guidelines constrict you and your art imagination. You can still draw or create whatever you want to within any given guidelines of a project. AP Studio Art Drawing is taught by Ms. Sherbach. If you want to take this class, you have to be well disciplined and good at working diligently. In the first semester, you work on building your breath portfolio, which basically showcases your knowledge of using the different mediums and the elements and principles of design. In the second semester, you work on building your concentration, which is 12 pieces, and they're all based around one idea that you are trying to display. Tip number 1. Pay attention to the advice and techniques that Ms. Sherbach teaches you in the first semester while building your breath portfolio. Pay attention to the demos and the instructions she gives you for each project. Those instructions and advice will help you have a better understanding when creating art later. Tip number 2. Figure out what you want to do for your concentration early. The earlier you figure out what you want to do for your concentration, the more time you have to plan out the pieces for your concentration. And also, you can get a head start and you won't have to waste a lot of your class time planning. Tip number 3, make sure that you are interested in what you pick for your concentration. You are doing 12 pieces based off of your idea, so make sure that you pick something that you enjoy doing, like whether it is painting the growth of flowers over time, or something that you're comfortable drawing that you know you will enjoy creating 12 pieces on. If you choose something that you don't enjoy or you didn't really think that well through, you will end up dreading doing the next piece, and it's really not fun if you do that. Tip number 4. After you pick what you want to do for your concentration, you should plan out what you want to do for the first couple of pieces so that you can see where you want your pieces to lead. Each piece is supposed to relate to the other while showing increasing ability and knowledge of the principles and elements of design. So having a general plan will help you move from one project to the next easily. And while you're creating artwork for your concentration, just always make sure that you are planning out the next couple of pieces so that you don't have to spend a lot of your class time planning and you can just get into class and work on your artwork. Tip number 5. Make sure that you use your class time wisely. You should work diligently to optimize the most amount of class time to finish your artwork. During the first semester, you should really have enough time for the most part to finish your art pieces in class, as long as you're working diligently. There may be some times where you want to bring your artwork home to maybe touch it up a little bit, add more detail and finish it, but for the most part you should be able to finish it. Now during the second semester you're working more on your own time, and when you're doing your own ideas, like your own pieces, you can get behind more easily, especially since there's a piece due every week. Every single Friday there is a piece of artwork due, and so you don't want to fall behind, because if you fall behind, those pieces will just build up. So use your class time to work on your project, really optimize your time, and I suggest creating a schedule for every week. What I do is on Friday, I sketch out the piece on a piece of tracing paper and a little thumbnail. On Monday, I draw it on the actual paper I'm going to paint on. On Tuesday, I paint in class. Tuesday, I paint a little bit at home. On Wednesday, which is my block day, I'll paint in class, and I'll bring it home and paint for a little bit. And I'll also paint a little bit on Thursday to finish it up, and I turned it in on Friday. And on Friday, I start drawing the next piece again, and that's my system, and I finish every single Friday. I know it seems like you're working a lot, but if you just spend time every single day working on your artwork, you won't get to the point where it's like you're working really hard to finish it on the last night. And if you pace yourself out, it's a lot easier to not get behind. So I just suggest creating a system to complete your artwork that works best for you. Two art teachers at Santa Sue are Mrs. Schulte and Mrs. Scherbach. Mrs. Schulte is awesome. She has a great personality, and she will always help you if you need her help or advice. So don't be afraid to ask her for help, because she is literally the least scariest person in the world. Mrs. Scherbach, she has a lot of knowledge and experience, so make sure that you definitely listen to her helpful guidance. She also has a grading system that is different than the way a lot of teachers grade things. A lot of her projects are out of 500 points or 1,000 points. So when you get your first project back and you're like, what the heck is this? Why is it out of like 1,000 points? Don't worry, you'll get used to it. It's fine. Basically, like if you had 900 out of 1,000, it would be basically like a 90%. So it's easy to figure out. Alright guys, that is all for today. I hope my tips were helpful for you. Make sure that you like, comment, and share this video. Thank you for watching. Bye. And my bird is yelling. What the heck? Do you hear him? He's screaming. How many times do I have to record this? He's laughing now. He's laughing. He's laughing at me.